So, on February 4th of 2019, while the rest of the world was getting ready to watch the Super Bowl, I was in Target having a meltdown trying to pick out which underwear I was going to have my miscarriage in. The title, so it's there. This is going to be about my miscarriage, what happened, and disclaimer to maybe friends or family who didn't know that I had one. I'm sorry, I'm not good at like talking about this with people face to face because I have trouble reacting to people's reactions. It's just not something easy to talk about, and I'll get into like why that is if you were wondering. And also like I handle this, and especially now it's 2-3 months after, probably with humor that other people don't think's maybe funny in this light, but if I don't laugh, I'll cry. So there's that disclaimer. Okay, so I'm making this video for a lot of reasons. When I found out I was pregnant, one of my really good friends had just found out she was pregnant as well. And I remember she was the first person who said to me, like, I think I said, when are you going to tell people? And she's like, you know, my doctor keeps talking about how 1 in 4 women miscarry, especially in the first 12 weeks. So we really want to wait till then. So that was like my first introduction of like really hearing like people, like the chances of miscarriage are high. I don't like off the top of my head know a lot of people who had miscarried or heard a lot about it. I know Sean Johnson had just come out in October. I found out I was pregnant in December. About miscarriage, and so I knew it was out there, but I didn't know how prevalent it was. So I remember that. I remember when I went to go see my doctor, I think I was 4 weeks, and she said, yeah, 25% chance of miscarriage. It's 1 in 4 women, like 1 in 4 chances, because I don't even think it's 1 in 4 women. I think it's like every time you get pregnant, which also scary. So I knew about it. But honestly, I didn't know, one, that miscarriage was so prevalent, that a lot of people had struggled with it. I didn't know that there were like different types of miscarriage. And it's a life reminder too that no matter how many times or how much you try to do something right, things can still go wrong. So, I found out I was pregnant 2 days after Christmas, so it was a very exciting time. When I got pregnant the first time, so that was the first time in December. It was like a series of unfortunate events, honestly, after. So 2 weeks after I found out I was pregnant, and I was like 4 weeks, I had gotten in a car accident. It was a really small car accident. It was like a fender bender, which, you know, if you're from Pittsburgh and I told you it happened in front of the tunnels, you'd be like, yeah, nothing like serious. Someone hit me from behind when I was stopped. Again, nothing serious. We thought all was good. Drove my car away, but I went home. And when I got home, my husband came home, and when I went to the bathroom, I was bleeding vaginally, and I got really, really nervous. So at this point, 4 weeks, like I was still getting positive pregnancy tests. I was testing, I was checking. So I went to the hospital, and I got an ultrasound. So at 4 weeks, they said they didn't see much. I was like 4, almost 5 maybe. Because I remember on all the apps I thought it was strange because a lot of people at this point in time had seen at least something more than I just had like a thickening wall. Most people had seen like the gestational sac or yolk sac, which if you've never been pregnant or probably have this, you might not know what I'm talking about. So this ain't for you, I guess. They had only seen in the thickening of the wall, which means they knew something was going on. They checked my HCG, I was good. Saw my doctor the next day, just for like my first prenatal, did all my blood work, everything looked good, and then they sent me up for my dating ultrasound, which usually happens between 6 and 8 weeks, so I made mine for 7 weeks. So I never had like a feeling something was wrong. I didn't have any bleeding. Other than that, I still had pregnancy symptoms. I was exhausted. I was nauseous, had headaches. All first trimester signs I had. Again, and no bleeding. So it didn't make me think much of it. And so when we went to our 7-week ultrasound, Dominic and I were very excited. This was going to be the ultrasound that we started telling people, because at this point we had told like no one. I had told like two coworkers, my friend who was pregnant at this point. So not a lot of people knew. We were kind of waiting for the like A-OK to tell our family. So we went to that ultrasound at 7 weeks. They saw a sac, but they didn't see a baby at all, which at 7 weeks, they probably should. And the sac was only measuring 5 weeks. So this is where they start saying maybe you're earlier, like you ovulated later than you thought you did, or you thought you were further along than you were. In a lot of women, that is true and that happens. I was pretty sure of my dates. So I knew the chances of being 2 weeks off weren't like high, but immaculate conception has happened. So I don't claim to know how the body works or what happened. So at that point, they wanted to check my HCG every 2 days to make sure it was going up. And then I had an ultrasound in 2 more weeks, because at that point I'd be 9 weeks. And if they don't see a fetal pole, which is like the heartbeat, a baby by then it was miscarriage, which that's what we'll get into. So check my HCG. It had gone up. It hadn't doubled though, which I wish someone would have talked to me about. They just kind of said it went up, and my doctor had said that's a positive sign. But at this point, after that ultrasound, she started talking to me about a missed miscarriage and something called a blighted ovum, which also is an embryonic pregnancy, I believe. But blighted ovum is how I refer to it. So a blighted ovum is when, for whatever reason, you become pregnant, but when the sperm and the egg meet, maybe because of chromosomal abnormalities or for whatever reason, an embryo does not actually happen. But your body thinks you are pregnant. It builds the sac that is supposed to carry the baby. It gives you pregnancy hormones, and you think you are pregnant for whatever purpose, but there is not a baby inside of that sac. For a lot of women, they do end up starting to bleed. You end up starting miscarrying naturally. Not a lot of women, some women start miscarrying naturally. My body just, thought I was pregnant and kept on going. So for the 2 weeks from 7 to 9 waiting, my body, I wasn't bleeding, because that was the other thing. She's like, if you start bleeding, let me know. I hadn't started bleeding. So we started thinking maybe I would, for whatever reason, maybe we weren't as far along as I had thought, or, I don't know, just optimistic hope. At this point, I'm scouring all the websites, learning everything about a blighted ovum, how extremely common it is. And that's why I also said different types of pregnancy. So there's blighted ovum, which is a type of miscarriage. I mean, there's a chemical pregnancy, which is a type of miscarriage. There's just miscarriage for whatever reason, maybe due to hormones, your hormone levels weren't high enough. There's literally types. Okay, we're teaching sex ed about how not to get pregnant, but can we talk about what happens when you get pregnant and things go wrong, because wasn't prepared. So I mean, obviously we know where this is going. The news didn't we didn't get good news. So a lot of people ask me too, did you ever get a feeling? And I'm like, I don't know. This is the first time I'm pregnant. I just know that I knew I was pregnant because I didn't feel right, and I was right about being pregnant. And then it's hard when you don't have anything to put it to. And with a blighted ovum specifically, your body thinks it's pregnant. It is doing everything of pregnant except having a baby. So it's a really freaking cruel joke. So when I went into the 9-week ultrasound, which that technician was horrible, that's a side note, there wasn't a baby. And it was officially you're having a missed miscarriage, which means your body missed the fact that you needed to miscarry. That's how I explain it. So, right? Okay. That was February 3rd that I found out. That was Saturday, February 3rd. We went and we got that, officially. It's not. So I'm the type of person that during this time, I just have to prepare myself for the absolute worst. My husband is very optimistic. I think I'm internally optimistic, but I have to I spent those 2 weeks being really hope there's a baby in there, but you really have to prepare yourself that this is not going to be, because I knew how devastating or how upset I was going to be. Because no matter what, when you find out you're pregnant, and I'm not going to have the debate about if a 2-week fetus is a baby or not, you make a dream or a plan or this hope or this life with this child. And even when you find out there's not a baby, it doesn't take away the fact that I spent 2 months being pregnant. I mean, found out. So they don't, like, it's hard when you're like at an ultrasound tech. She's like, I don't know, you need to call your doctor. They're probably going to have to do a D&C, which from like researching, I knew about a D&C where it is just like an abortion. Doesn't that, like, that's what it is? It's an abortion. So they go in there and suck it out, like the stuff that your body doesn't recognize. I guess you could also take a pill or wait for your body to miscarry naturally. And for all you women who have miscarried naturally, you are real freaking G's, because I knew I mentally could not do that. So we leave there Saturday, soul devastatingly crushed. And so that night I start bleeding. Not a lot, but I guess trigger warning too. There's gonna be like blood and stuff. I start bleeding. So I keep saying, like, your mind is a effing powerful thing, because I really think, because my mind was like, your mind has a lot of control over your body, I guess is what I'm trying to say, that I really truly feel like, because my mind was like, no, we might be pregnant, my body had not naturally miscarried. You can think what you want, but I will think that, and as soon as my mind got that confirmation of there is no baby, my body kind of started going, you know what, we can get rid of this. So I started bleeding like a little bit, but not a lot on Saturday, and my doctor's office is closed Saturday and Sunday, so real up in the air here. But okay, it wasn't bleeding a lot, so I knew enough to be like, I don't need to go to the ER. Everyone was like, the ER sucks, they're not going to do anything, avoid going if you can. So I did, and I think because like I hadn't like started bleeding really, or like miscarrying yet in this whole 9-week period, it never dawned on me that I might miscarry naturally. I was fully convinced. She talked about the D&C, and I was like, I have to get a D&C. Perfect. Put me under, get rid of it. Like, it's not conducive for me to be going to work wondering when I'm going to naturally miscarry or take a pill and sit there and wait for huge clots to come out. Because, like, people, we aren't talking about a period. We're talking about period on steroids with clots. Like, no. I don't care if there's not a baby in there. Mental sanity is like hanging on by a little thread. We don't need that. So, in my mind, I'm like, yep, we're scheduling a dance. I become like methodical and like, okay, this is what's going to need to be done. I'm very good at knowing, like, okay, I don't get like upset. I'm like, okay, this is what we need to do. I knew my upsetness was going to come like a month later. As time went by, it was going to be harder for me. So we are like as good as we could have been. So I'm thinking, all right, Monday we'll call, I'll set up the D&C. I'm already moving my work around so that I can take off. And then on Sunday, which is Super Bowl Sunday, I start bleeding a lot more. Like passing stuff a little bit. And not even as much as I should have, because we'll get to that, but enough that I started going, oh, there is a chance that I'm going to miscarry naturally. And I don't think I'm ready for that. So that is when I said to Dom, I'm like, oh, you need like huge pads. Like, I'm reading up what happens if you miscarry naturally. People are like, oh, you bleed. You need like huge pads. And I'm like, we gotta go. So we go to Target. I'm talking about like 6 o'clock at night on Super Bowl Sunday. Everyone else is flitting around, grabbing their like last minute entrees. I'm in fucking underwear land going, Dom's like, pick one. I'm like, I don't know how to pick what I'm going to miscarry in. I don't know. Grab something big, comfy, shove a diaper in there. So that was like my first mental breakdown was in Target, because it really had never occurred to me that I might like start miscarrying, but I actually didn't end up fully miscarrying. So called the doctor on Monday, she's like, if you haven't really started passing big stuff, we just want a DNC because there's a risk of infection and whatnot. So my DNC was scheduled like Monday at 2:00. I've never been happier when she was like, let's try to get this done today. I was like, yeah, can we try to? Because you can't, like, I can't just sit around here. As soon as I knew there wasn't, I'm like, get it out. Please, like, we can't keep doing this. So 2:00, I went in for my DNC, and I don't know, by like 4, I was out. Went home, didn't really feel, I don't know, like a lot. I didn't have a ton of bleeding after. Some people bleed for like a while. I actually had bleeding like a week later. I bled for a little bit, but I like kind of worked from home that week. I went to a couple clients I had. I have really great coworkers who helped me out a lot. And I guess I didn't mention this. So I had to do like the horrible thing where I had to end up telling people I was pregnant between the 7 and 9 weeks. So the 7 weeks when they said like, I'm not sure, not looking good. I had to like tell my parents, had to like call them and say like, hey, I'm about to tell you something that you're gonna get super excited about, but then I'm going to like take that excitement away. Like, hey, I'm pregnant, but it's not looking good. So I had to actually tell not a significant amount of people, but like my boss, some other people from work. There's someone else too. I had to tell them like when I found out that. I either had to tell them when I knew like we were in like not shoreland, or like, hey, I had a miscarriage land. But there's a ton of people that we didn't tell because I didn't want to talk about it. There was a Super Bowl party I was supposed to go to that I never went to, and I made up an excuse because obviously that wasn't going to work. But something I've wanted to talk to people about, but haven't been able to get there yet. So the reason that I want to talk about this is because, so I know when I told a bunch of my coworkers about it, especially even the men or the ladies who like have multiple children or are like older, I was shocked at how many, almost every single one of them, and I only work with a group of 20 people, said, oh, hey, my wife had 2, my wife had 4. The ladies told me, oh, we had multiple. My mother-in-law had 2 between children. This is something that is highly prevalent, and we are not talking about it. We're not talking about it enough because of the fact of how mentally fucking it is. And it's insane to me that we're not talking about it. And I know what it is. I understand that for women, since we like got our periods, we have been like, I don't even know if we've been shamed or we just hold this shame of not wanting to talk about things that are going on in our body. Especially things we have zero control over. I know with a miscarriage, it's like, people are like, oh, well, what happened? What did you do? What was wrong? And you can do everything right, and it can go wrong. There are women who are having 10 miscarriages, and which is, God bless your soul heart. I don't know how you're doing it. And we are not talking about this. We are not warning people about this. And it feels shameful. It does feel like you did something wrong. I don't want to talk about to people because I don't want them to speculate on their own, or it feels embarrassing. Like, why can't my body hold a baby when millions of women all over the world are able to do it? So that's why I'm making this video, because I remember people would ask me every day, like, how are you doing? And I'm like, shittier every day, because every day it's not something that you get over. Every day is a reminder. How many emails I had to cancel for being like, you're like from pregnancy apps or different things you sign up for when you're excited, saying like, oh, you're 20, I would be like 25 weeks pregnant right now. And I'm not, and I don't need that fucking reminder. You are faced with baby showers and gender reveals and things that you have to like show up to. And I understand that I could have told people, but it's not something I want to talk about. I don't want to not go to things, and it's probably a purely selfish reason and all of that, but it's just, it is hard. And there's no like explanation. We like things with explanations. We like the reasoning that if you give 100%, you get it full return. And this is one of those things in life that's not how that works. And it's really hard for yourself to understand. And I think it's hard for other people to understand. I feel like it's something that I said and I agreed that until you like can get pregnant again, I don't know if it goes away, and I don't even know if it goes away still from that. After your D&C, you have to wait to get your like regular period. My doctor told me to wait for at least 1 before you even try again. Some people get told to wait 3. I don't think you understand like how time is so effed in this situation, because so you have your D&C and then you wait to get your period, which can come between 6 and 12 weeks. Okay, I hate talking about things in weeks. That's 3 months. Like 2 to 3 months. That's a long time when you're dealing with heartache. And then after that, and then it's trying again, and it's like scary to try again. The whole thing, it's like, it's hard when it's hard regardless. I understand though for people, it's hard when it's your first though, because it like kind of takes the joy out of like getting pregnant again, because you're just nervous. So I don't even know if I've like answered anything or like done anything, but no, I'm just talking about women who have gotten pregnant and either struggle to stay pregnant, or who like have frequent miscarriages, or you've had one, or women who like can't get pregnant at all. Like this whole infertility miscarriage thing is something that I know we all know about, but until you go through it, until you watch someone else go through it, you have like no idea how devastating or how scary. Even women like who haven't, and just the thought, like it's this fear is my miscarriage story. I want to do this to talk about it more and make it more open, so that if people struggle or are struggling with this or have struggled with this, that maybe they don't feel so alone. Because I know for me, since I don't really know anyone else my age who's gone through this, it's really isolating, I guess. But I don't think we get all the answers or the reasons of why things happened. I know in my life I haven't gotten like the answers to why horrible bad things have happened, but I just think that when we look back on our lives, that these burdens, these obstacles, these challenges will prove to show us that they can be some of our biggest blessings, no matter how weird or how difficult it's to go through. And I can say that about like a lot of things in my life, but this has definitely been one of the hardest. So I hope you don't ever have to go through this. If you have gone through this once, twice, 3, 15 times, I'm going to say it's not your fault. It's not your fault. There's nothing you could have done better. You could have done more. Could have done more better. And that it's going to suck. And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry if you don't have people in your life who are uplifting you through this and loving you through this. And I'm sorry. And I hope you get your little beautiful rainbow baby one day, and many of them, and that somehow all of this pain and sadness and stuff will turn into great joy. So, but on that note, so Dom and I had gotten pregnant really fast. Which is something some inconsiderate people said to me, well, you got pregnant fast, so got pregnant within 2 months of trying to get pregnant. Getting pregnant hasn't been my issue so far. I got my period in March, so my D&C was February 4th. I got my period in March 10th, and on April 11th, I found out I was pregnant again. Right now, I am almost 8 weeks pregnant, and I have my first ultrasound today. And besides the D&C, this has been the hardest scariest 8 weeks of, I don't know, this year has been kind of shitty. I'm scared. And I don't know what's gonna happen. So, blighted ovums, I guess, are supposed to not happen twice, but I do have read that people have had them twice. Again, people have had a miscarriage to just a regular miscarriage to a chemical pregnancy. You know, there is no equation for these or what happened. So I waited longer to get my first ultrasound with this one so that we could be definite. So I waited until the 8 weeks because that should be when they should definitely see a baby. And if not, we'll have to start that horrible process again. But I have to have hope. Yeah, wait, doesn't that end on like a happy, heavy note? That's what I mean. Like, found out I was pregnant, I was real excited for 2 days and was like, shit. If anyone has like questions on specifics, maybe details that I didn't get into, I can. You can learn a lot about all like types of stuff, like miscarriage and stuff like that when you're going through this. And if you are going through this, or you think you might be going through this, or you're in that awful waiting zone of trying to find out if you're going through this, please, I don't know, reach out to me. If I can do that, then I'll somehow find this worth it in the end. And you are 100% not alone. And all you got to do is ask people, get on an app or something, and you're going to find out so many people who are going through this, have gone through it multiple times. So, and maybe, I hope it's helpful to hear someone else's story and how it goes. So, all right. Hope your day is not as heavy as this video. All right. I'm probably forgetting something I want to talk about, but okay. So, I wanted to pop on at the end of this video, and this video that you just watched, if you made it to the end, was filmed on May 10th. It was Mother's Day weekend, so when I went to go get my ultrasound to confirm my pregnancy, and I understand I kind of left that. I think I meant to come back and film more on that, but I didn't. So I just kind of wanted to like give a disclaimer. So that was filmed a while ago, more than 2 months ago. And I am pregnant. So I am now 15 weeks along currently in my pregnancy. So at least I don't, because I feel like I left that on such a like, we'll see. And I just want to let you know we did see, and everything was great. And that is why life has been a little crazy too. I do have another video coming hopefully very, very soon. I just need to edit it. But yeah, so there's your disclaimer and your update for the end of this. So all right, thanks for watching and enjoy.